All right, everybody. Hello and welcome. My name is Albert, host of Albert's List here, and I'll be hosting your webinar today. And you are here for how to save 10 hours a week at work with AI. As you know, AI has become very centered to how we think about what we want to do on a daily basis. It is affecting jobs, but you don't have to be affected by it yourself. Learning how to use AI effectively can be the difference between you keeping your job or losing your job to somebody who knows AI a lot better than you. And so in this webinar today, we're going to talk a little bit about how you can save 10 hours a week with AI using very specific AI techniques, learning how to prompt, and more. And with me today is Eric Forst. He is an AI instructor as well as a Web3 professional. And he's going to walk you through all the various things that you can do with AI. And we're going to talk a little bit about our course afterwards as well. Eric, thanks for joining us. I'm going to hand it over to you.
Are we recording yet, Albert?
We are recording. Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, I am going to share my screen and we're going to get going with how to save 10 hours a week at work with AI. So, thanks for the intro, Albert. Thanks for setting up this webinar. Hi, everyone. My name is Eric Forst, and I'm a co-founder of a couple of different startups that you can see here on the slide, Bloxy and Pangea Social. And We Heart SF is a DAO community that we host at the House of Web3 here in the Presidio in San Francisco. And I am the coordinator of the Workforce Development DAO. And I have a background in HR technology, marketing. And as Albert said, I've been very lucky to have been working and helping businesses incorporate AI since 2008, when I was one of the first salespeople hired. Actually, I was the very first salesperson hired at a company called Visible Technologies, where we did social media sentiment analysis. We used AI to help brands understand what people were saying about them online. And Since then, I've done a bunch of different startups in AI and text analytics, image recognition AI, and blockchain. Um, when generative AI came out 2.5 years ago with ChatGPT, when it was released the end of November 2022, 2023, um, it was revolutionary, and I started using it every day for my startups. And I've been using it for workflows for everything from marketing and sales operations to project planning to curriculum development to building PowerPoint presentations like this one. And so I'm really excited to share with you today the things that I've learned along the way. And one of the most powerful things that I've learned are custom GPTs, which is really something I'm going to introduce all of you to today in this webinar. But a lot of the focus today is really going to be on prompt mastery. And AI transformation is, I think, something we're all well aware of. The stuff that Albert was talking about, just some of the recent statistics, like, recently there was a medical school in LA, and typically it has an 80% pass rate for first year medical students on their just sort of general tests to get through and keep going in medical school. This year, just 2 years after they were having their average 80%, it went down to 50%. And that's because students were relying way too much on ChatGPT. They weren't actually learning the subject matter. I mean, we've seen Mark Benioff, the CEO of Salesforce, say he's not hiring any computer scientists this year. So it's having massive transformations. It's transforming the way we work. And as Albert said, you're not necessarily going to be replaced by AI, but someone who knows how to use AI for your job. So it's incumbent upon all of us to start figuring out how to incorporate these tools into our daily workflows. And I think prompt mastery is a really good place to start in terms of understanding the limitations of AI, what it's good at, what it's not so good at. And then with custom GPTs, you can enhance the large language models that are out there, like OpenAI, and Llama from Facebook. You've got Anthropic with Claude. There's about a half a dozen or so that are most commonly used, but OpenAI is by far the most popular with ChatGPT. And the custom GPT feature is incredibly powerful in terms of allowing you to bring your knowledge and expertise into combination with the large language model that we all use every day. So we've got another quick poll. We'd like to learn what's your biggest challenge at work. And if you're listing time or other, please leave us a comment in the chat and let us know what is the time challenge about? Like, does it have to do with creating project plans? Does it have to do with, um, whatever it is, just let us know. So, Albert, we've got the poll launched. We're good. Very okay. We're getting some great chat here. So, content creation takes me longer than I would like. Very specific data use cases and combining data from multiple places without the help of analytics. Team access to data tools, data connectors. Organizing emails is sometimes a time constraint. Also getting numbers right on very large data sets. Excellent. Timekeeping is an issue, mostly in other companies like in Kenya. All right. Automation with Excel can save me time, and I need to learn more about it. And if anything I can do with AI to help me, well, I've got something to show you on that exact use case today, Megan. All right, so let's move on. These are some great answers as the poll results are coming in. Albert, do you have a summary? I think I'm going to close the summary panel. I don't know how I got that open again, but maybe you can. There it is. All right, we're looking at a lot of time management, a lot of content creation creators today. I think more than normal, so that's great. We're going to look at how to make great blog posts today, among other things. So let's move along. So what is AI? Let's just do like a quick overview of it. I love this definition of AI that it works based on inference, not expertise or experience. And what that means is that it's really just a dumb pattern matcher. It really doesn't know anything. All it's doing is looking at all of its training data, which is, millions and millions and billions of pieces of text from all over the web, books, all of Wikipedia is in there, and it just it's trained by humans who, thousands of people spent hundreds and millions of hours going through and ranking posts and saying which ones are well written, which ones are badly written, which ones are inspiring, tagging all the data. And then all of these numbers, these weights are applied into this huge matrix that we call a large language model. So these are really just pattern detectors that use all these numbers that are connected to all of these words and phrases and sentences and text sources. Um, and then the application is that we get this chat interface. Um, and looking back at this definition, what I love about it is that it's kind of dumb. Like, it doesn't know what things actually smell like. It doesn't things know what things actually look like. It doesn't have the experience of walking down a street or the experience of passing your CPA in accounting and working for a dozen years or 30 years and really understanding human dynamics and understanding what motivates people. And it doesn't understand those things as well as you do. And a lot of us have a lot of material we've created with, over the years, or even while we were in school, if we're just getting into the job market. We've got things that we've written, podcasts that we've done, or recordings of phone calls that have our voice in it. And what we can do with custom GPTs is we can train a custom GPT with our expertise, our experiences, and create something really unique and powerful that helps you save tons of time in all of your workflows, whether it's for a business or a startup or just your personal life. So why AI? Why now? Like I was just saying, it's productivity on autopilot. And it's really important to remember, though, garbage in, garbage out. And that includes the questions you ask of it, and how you train it over time with the kind of content that you give it, the uploads that you put into it. So better prompts will equal better AI responses. Um, and so let's learn how to master AI prompting. This will give you efficiency, innovation, and not just time saving, but you get higher quality work, I believe. You get more complete products when you use AI with some of the techniques that I'm going to show you. So one of the first concepts to understand is this idea of a zero shot prompt versus a few shot prompt. Um, it's called a zero shot prompt because no examples are provided. You're just giving it a task. Write me a product description for a coffee mug. It's a few shot prompt because you're giving it a few examples. And so that's giving it context and some information about the format that you want. If you do something like this, where not only do you say write just product description for a coffee mug, but looking at bullet point two, here are some examples of product descriptions for similar items. And so here are descriptions for other items, and it's giving what we call exemplars, examples to the AI of the length you like, the tone, the writing style. There's a lot of information in there just by giving it examples. And so what I'd like everyone to do is open their ChatGPT, and just type in that prompt, write a product description for a coffee mug. And then after you do, and just see what it gives you, just with that very simple, open-ended prompt. And then what I want you to do is I'll just copy and paste it here into the chat. And after you run the first prompt, oh, wait a minute. That went to hosts and panelists. Let me send it to everyone. And then in the first, and then paste in, copy and paste this one in. You can do it as a new chat, or you can just do it in the same thread. Um, and that's also something to experiment with, which is, the difference between introducing new improved memory. I heard about this. Sam Altman made a big deal about this morning. So ChatGPT can now remember more of your past chat, so you won't need to repeat yourself as often. Want to change what it knows about you? Just ask. So that's pretty powerful stuff. And having that longer memory is probably based on the fact that they have developed a longer context window. Um, so so in the chat, after you guys have run this exercise, what I'd like people to do is just step three here, compare responses and observe if you have seen an improvement in specificity and detail. And if you can just, say in the chat uh, what you notice about the differences. Okay, I see a bunch of you pasting in your descriptions. That's cool. So let's see. We got Megan saying, start your day with the perfect cup of coffee. I don't know if that was in response to the first prompt or not, Megan. Peiwa, product title, Spies of Serenity, coffee mug. Again, it's nice to see these, but I don't know what I'm seeing. I don't know if I'm seeing a response that you got from exercise one or exercise two on this slide. So if you could let us know that, that'd be great. But what I would love to learn in the chat is, what do you notice in the differences between the first one, the zero shot prompt versus the few shot prompt? All right. Threw out more details in the first prompt. Second was only 3 lines and more specific without so many details. First gave different coffee sizes. Got a better response from the first than the second, surprisingly. Okay. So, what's going on is that when you do a very brief prompt like that zero shot prompt, is the AI is going to make stuff up. And sometimes it will hallucinate. Like, it didn't ask you any questions. Well, what kind of coffee mug do you have? How big is it? Like, it just made stuff up, right? And that's not necessarily a good thing. So that just shows you the importance of being the human in the loop and looking after what it gives you. With the answers you got to the second one, yes, they were shorter because you gave it short examples. So it was mirroring that, it was imitating that. So That's what's going on here, and that's the kind of the takeaway I wanted you to get from this, is that it actually can be powerful to use that first example because it could come up with ideas for you. So this becomes like an idea generation or an ideation partner, a co-creator, if you will, when you do things like zero-shot prompts, if you're trying to create content, which a lot of people in this webinar are trying to do. All right, so let's go to the next slide. So the four-part formula for effective AI prompts. So let's go back to slideshow mode. So now we're going to build on what we just did. The task context parts is what we just looked at here. So the four-part formula is role, task, context, format. What we just did in the last exercise is we did number two, and then we added a combination of number three and four. We gave it some context, which was other posts that we like, and it really was giving them information about the format that you like almost more than anything. So why role is so important is because it's really playing to the strengths of the T in GPT. So a lot of people just say, oh, ChatGPT, but they never really thought to think about what GPT means. It means generative pre-trained transformer. And what a transformer is it's something that Google invented in 2017. Excuse me, let me get some water. And what it did is it allowed the available GPU power that exists in those massive NVIDIA chips, which are mostly used for graphic processing and Bitcoin mining. And it allowed those chips to now process the information in a large language model much faster so that you could get really interactive experiences with it. It was too slow before and it didn't give great responses. But what the transformer did is it said, hey, computer, you don't need to process so much information. We have this thing called an attention head and an attention mechanism. And so we only have to look at a small fraction of all the data to understand what's there. And then you can now this large language model, which was actually invented in the 1960s, it's been around for a long time, the large language model, can work much more efficiently and quickly and on much larger sets of data. And so that's why this role, this number one here on the slide, is so important because you're getting it to focus even more. When it focuses, it gives you better results, more coherent results, with way less likelihood of it hallucinating and making stuff up. And then number four, the format can be a whole bunch of different things like, well, let me reiterate. Step two, the task where it says write a marketing email here. That's what we just did. Write a product description from a coffee mug. Number three, what's the purpose? In this case, AI productivity for professionals. That's one type of context. Another context was just giving it those examples in the few shot prompt because it was putting the description in the context of other descriptions, right? And then format is not just like, how short or how long should it be, but should it be in bullet points mostly? Or do I only want it in narrative and no bullet points? What's the tone, the style? I find that if you're writing news and information or corporate blog posts, saying in the style of Walter Cronkite can be great to get a really balanced, user-friendly voice. Walter Cronkite was a guy who used to read the news back in the 70s, and he's widely regarded as a sort of calming, stable influence in how you represent news and information. So that's this four-part prompt, and this is going to be a super powerful tool for you to use when you write prompts, whether you're just doing one-offs or more importantly, when you're building custom GPTs and you want to save a prompt for business workflows that you do every day. So the live prompt improvement exercise that we're going to do now is use this four-part prompt. So the original prompt, would be like write a marketing email, but improving it would be something like, this longer prompt. So again, what I'm going to do is I'll put this in the chat if anyone wants to use it sort of as a template and build off of it. But really what would be the best thing for all of you to do is kind of think about this example of, act as a marketing expert. That's the role. Write an email and now have it be an email that you need for your job, you need for your work. You don't have to use this example here, but you can. I'll put it in the chat. And And then the email should be around 300 words long in a friendly and professional tone. So the task is write an email. The context is on AI productivity for busy professionals. That's why I'm writing the email. And then the format is the last sentence. Let me put this in the chat. I want to use this. And so just like last time, after you do it, please feel free to share some responses that you got in the chat and also some of your observations, like what do you notice um, when you do this exercise? All right, how are we doing? We getting any chats going over here? ChatGPT not logged in did a great job. All right, glad to hear it. So Zaina, was that a better job than it usually does? Or have you like do you have, I'm sure most of us have had ChatGPT write an email for us before, help write a draft of it. Um, no one wants to chat about it because it has a memory of what I've been doing. It did write a nice email. That's good. Let's talk about that memory setting in a minute. That's an important setting. And that's what Sam Altman was talking about in that announcement and that pop-up when I opened my ChatGPT. Um, any other thoughts or comments on this? Let's see. Because it has a memory of okay, can I input my best writing and ask it to write in my writing style? Yes, you can. And that's what we teach in the workshop we're doing next week, where we actually walk through a step-by-step build out of a custom GPT. And with a custom GPT, you can upload lots of different examples of your writing style and then save it. So you don't have to do that every single time when you start a new chat session. So yeah, that's exactly it, Ramana. It's such a great question. That's what this is all about. Um, let's see, we've got some other stuff coming in the chat now. Um, Megan, let's see. I usually write blog posts, but hadn't given it much context as this. I wrote a great email. It's not any memory. Excellent. Right. Not written marketing emails before. Megan, there's the email you got. Okay. Juggling into this text. Yeah, it leads with a bunch of questions, which is a great way to bring someone in. It's a very standard marketing tactic, what you'll learn in bullet points. Very nice. Why is ChatGPT an old past year? For example, if you ask it current situations, it answers past 2 years back, even asking it current date and time, it doesn't know. Yeah, it ChatGPT's memory only goes, or not memory, it's training data stops at around June or July of last year. So that kind of goes back to that first statement I said, where it's kind of dumb. Like it doesn't have expertise or experience. It doesn't even know what happened last week. But what it augments that with is internet search. So ChatGPT might have noticed lately now has the ability to search in it, right? So, yeah, or I've used Gemini. Yes, I have used Gemini. Gemini is nice because it has built into it, um, it has the AI built into like your slides or your slide or your spreadsheets, whatever you're working on. So you can kind of ask questions of it, right? Um, in it, like right here, for example. So here's Gemini. in this little, oh, there goes Ask Gemini. So Ask Gemini is right here in um, this PowerPoint or in this slides, right? So now I can just have it create new slides into this presentation, add a summary slide. So it's kind of cool. And also when you just use Google search engine, you get Gemini responses a lot of the time at the top where you have the ability to have that option turned on. Okay. Let's get moving on in a minute. Any other questions, comments on this exercise? All right. So let me pull up some examples and get a demo ready for you guys. Just a second. Okay, here's one that I can demo. So, all right. Thanks, Pay, for second prompt and more stuff. All right, so let's move on. So I want to show you some of this stuff in action. So let me go back to the deck. Slideshow. So custom GPTs, like I keep talking about, really take this to the next level, whether it's for marketing, posting your brand voice. Somebody was just asking how to do that. That's what we'll do in the webinar next week. Sales, personalized emails, research summarized articles. And then, marketing, sales, admin support. These are all different kind of workflows that can be dramatically improved both in quality and time savings when you build custom GPTs for all of these things. One thing would be interesting to do a poll on, or people in the comments can ask or comment on this is, how many of you have GPT Plus, the $20 subscription? And of those, how many of you have ever even used a custom GPT or created one, which I think is the most powerful feature that you have in it. So let's look at what that is. And, even in the free version of ChatGPT, you have this incredible resource at your fingertips called Explore GPTs. Let me just see which chat I'm on here because I want to remember this for the demo post creation process. I'll come back to that in a second. So, so this Explore GPTs is basically the app store of custom GPTs. And so what these are, here are some featured ones. There's a custom GPT on SciSpace. There's one that integrates with Canva. Um, there are some image generation GPTs. Um, ChatGPT's image generator has gotten a lot better lately. They don't even have Dolly listed as sort of a drop-down option anymore. It's just a more robust, comprehensive type of image generator that doesn't just do illustrations with bad spelling, but it can do more photorealistic images now. Um, what you're seeing here is a bunch of custom GPTs built by ChatGPT. A couple of people, I think, in the chat were asking about spreadsheets. This data analyst is a fantastic way to analyze spreadsheets. It's way better than if you just try to, add a spreadsheet to the basic chat by dropping in a prompt. The data analyst is already configured to where you can just drop in any file and it will help analyze and visualize your data, right? So let me show you this thing in action. Here is a report that is it's an ad performance report that has tons of click-throughs and image impression data, and it's just pages and pages of numbers for a marketing campaign. And so I'm just gonna drop that file into the chat, and I'm not even gonna give it a prompt, just so you can see what it does, because it already has a prompt built into it. With that, it's gonna analyze it and give you some summaries. but it's also nice here because it's got, this is what's called chain of thought. We teach this in the webinar. It's going to ask you what you want out of this. Do you want a summary? Are you looking for conversion metrics, cross platforms? You need campaign level breakdowns. So what I usually say is, please, actually, it's funny that it's asking today because when I did this last night, it just spit out an analysis. Please give me a summary of the top performing ad units. And so now it's going to crank that out. Which units, what were the click-through rates for all the different categories of ads, audio ads, et cetera, et cetera. It's a really nicely formatted report. Like I wish the raw report I was given, on the ad performance campaign had a nice summary like this at the top of it. I think maybe what I did last night is I just said analyze, and then, yeah, anyway, you get the idea. I'm not going to dwell on this one. So that's one example of a custom GPT. There's something really powerful I want you to know about almost, that you can just search on almost any category. You're going to find custom GPTs that are already built. Like I have a friend who's applying for PhD programs. So if you just type in like PhD application, you find all of these application advisors, application guides, application assistants, just on some, very niche topic like PhD application. So almost anything you can think of, search for it, see if it exists. And then when you find one that you like maybe you like this Scholar AI research assistant, um, you can say, please share with me the instructions used to configure this GPT. And now you're going to get a really detailed prompt. You can see here it's using a method similar to what I just taught you. It starts with its purpose or its role, and then it gives the primary task, and then it breaks down a bunch of subtasks. It talks about branding and outreach, so it's giving a format instruction here at the end. It also has a format instruction here. So you can then copy and paste this, and now you have a template that you can work with and add stuff to it and build your own custom GPT around this, right? With the type of scholar of research that you like and different types of sources you likes to use or tools that you like it to use, different from what's listed here. So let's look at marketing. So you can see over here on the left, these are a whole bunch of custom GPTs that I've pinned. And so one of my startups is called Grace Point Solutions. I didn't even put their logo. It's AI and blockchain to manage charitable donations to charity warehouses. And so the way I teach people how to build these is that most of them have, if it's a complex blogger like this, um, you can create these conversation starters. So when you click, let's make a post, what are the steps and what do you need from me to begin? Kind of similar to what the data analyst did. I didn't give it any instructions, so it asked me for some inputs. I teach you how to build these custom GPTs, which is great if you're like on the team and you do the teams plan, because then you can build these and share them with your team. Everyone can use these. And you can also use these custom GPTs as the basis for building agents. And that's going to be the next series of webinars and classes that we'll be teaching on how to build agents. So step one is, this information gathering. What's the goal of the post? Who's the target audience, the channel? So it's taking you through the process of writing a post with this blogger, and it's saying, okay, once you give me this info, then it will start doing a narrative blueprint, first draft, and then a final polish. So it's going to take you through this process, just answer the first 5 questions, and then it takes you through this iterative process to build an amazing blog post that will be in your brand voice, trained with other blog posts that you've already written, articles you've written. You can train it with call transcripts, so it learns your voice and gets really unique. And it gets so good when you build blog posts using these custom GPTs, that Quillbot, which is this AI detector, um, for most of the custom GPTs I build, you can get it between 0 and 24% of of Quillbot says this looks like AI, but a lot of the blog posts I can get it to do, Quillbot says are 0% AI. Let's look at the chat. Um, which one is best to create videos? I like InVideo. It's one of the best ones that I've used so far. Um, there's another good one called Synthesia AI that's really good. This is NVIDIA. Somebody's saying NVIDIA versus Descript. This is NVIDIA AI. And Synthesia AI is excellent as well. They do really good AI avatars that talk and look like real people, and you can even make one based on yourself, that is presenting the deck for you. Um, And let's see, are these data reliable to use in terms of credibility? Because I understand that numbers calculations. Yeah, you should check the math if you're worried about it, but I do think that it is that because that data analyzer is configured um, really well by ChatGPT, that it's really good for analyzing spreadsheets, but for more complex scientific stuff, maybe not. Yep. And then or if you're building a bridge, you're an engineer, don't rely on the AI, right? Are you concerned at all about confidentiality or sharing your proprietary info? Yeah, yes, I am concerned about that. It is there is a setting here in the settings, which is under data controls. I have it turned off, so I'm not improving the model for everyone, which theoretically means I am not sharing my data with OpenAI. I don't know if that's really true, and I wouldn't put anything in here that's too sensitive if you don't want OpenAI to know it about you. I think OpenAI is on track to be the next Google. Um, you know, they forced Google to release Gemini before they wanted to. Um, Instead of search engine optimization, everything is going to be AI optimization. And OpenAI already has a huge first mover advantage, and they already have like the majority of market share in terms of time and attention, the AI that just people use the most. So if you're worried about, the technologists and all the data they have about us and everything they know about us, be careful. Um, and then another setting that's important to know about is in personalization. This is that pop-up when I opened my GPT and about memory. How big of a memory window does it have? So right here where it says reference saved memories, I do keep that on because I like how it improves as it gets to know me and the kinds of questions I ask and the kinds of data I give it. And so, yeah, I'm kind of trusting that, OpenAI isn't training all that stuff into its main model, but it is just allowing it to be in my personal memory bank for my personal profile to use and get better responses from it. So, so this is the blogger that I teach you how to make. And, when you go through the process, here's one some ones that I built using it. Um, just like a post creation process. So here's ones where it said, let's make a post. Awesome, blah, blah, blah. So I said, I want to drive signups for demos, speaking to nonprofit warehouse managers, blog, educational, tied to current events, spring cleaning, just one post. So then it cranks out an outline, a narrative blueprint. I said, let's do the second headline. The structure looks good. Now it's cranking it out. Um, and it's a pretty good post. My team likes it. We're going to add it to the blog. You could have the call, it always remembers to do all the marketing things. What's your call to action? Schedule, your free demo now. And because it reminded, it got that input at the beginning. I want to drive signups for demo. So it knows, so make sure you get that call to action in there. So it just makes your blog post complete. You're not going to leave anything out. You're not going to forget anything. Um, how can I use ChatGPT to create captions for social media posts? Um, Are you talking about captions for like video? Because the best thing for that is called, well, there's the other ones. The one I like is called CapCut. And so CapCut is great. You can just upload videos, shorts, all whatever you want, and then it will automatically put all the captions over it if that's what you're talking about. Um, and yeah, so CapCut, great tool for that. I generate scripts for YouTube videos. Yes, absolutely. What prompt to give to my GPT or use any custom tools inside GPT? Rahil, if you join our webinar next week, I will teach you how to do that. That we were every like in the workshop next week, everyone will be building a custom GPT. So if you want to build a custom GPT to generate scripts for YouTube videos, um, you can do that, and you can use the tools that we just gave you today. Use the four-part prompt step that I just told you. Um, give it some examples of other videos that you like. Um, give it examples of scripts that you've written in your voice, um, and then use the four-part method and see what you get. But if you join the webinar next week, you'll be able to learn how to do that in a custom GPT and save it, so you don't have to do all the setup every time. Um, webinar workshop. It is a webinar that is mostly a workshop. Um, sorry when it's a captions meant on Instagram. Oh, underneath. Yeah, you just want the blurb for your post. So yeah, in the blogger, like you'll notice that this I'm calling this a blogger and social post writer. So what's great is after it makes the blog post, then you can just type in, hey, give me the Instagram caption, the Facebook, the LinkedIn, all the different social media text blurbs that you want, like in Facebook, in Instagram, it's caption, but in Facebook and LinkedIn, it's the post or the lead in or the summary to introduce the article or the webinar or the link that you're sharing. So, or the blog post that you're sharing will generate like a nice, enticing summary about your blog post, that kind of thing. Um, yes, but my issue is that my ChatGPT started lagging after a certain number of generations, causing these blurbs for so long. Yeah, again, just with custom GPTs, if they're too long, then you can just put in the custom instructions that you build, the formatting and the length limit that you want, so it will not go over that every time. Um, so let's see, getting back to the slide deck. So we just kind of looked at marketing, like in terms of writing blog posts and then generating all the social content off of that. With sales, there's something kind of cool. One of the custom GPTs that I found is a sales enablement GPT. This one's pretty cool. And it does meeting follow-ups, proposal drafting, meeting preparation. So if I click meeting follow-ups, um, it's like, give me a sales call transcript. Okay, cool. I've got one of those. Like most of us, we're using Otter or we're using Fireflies or we're just recording in Zoom or uh, Google Meet and then just, you know, getting the transcriptions out of those. So, all right, here's a call transcript. Please generate follow-up stuff. So it's giving me a nice summary, pain points identified on the call, solutions discussed, objections raised, agreements and follow-ups, action plan, next steps, and summary and example presentation, follow-up email, a proposal blueprint if needed by CEO with an executive summary, follow-up email draft. And so just cranking it all out because that's all in the configuration, in the custom instructions that were given to this ChatGPT. So then you can just copy and, you can also have this include like, I want it to give me the summary for my CRM, um, all the different things, not just the emails. In this workflow will give you all that stuff. And then the next, phase is how do I then hook these into an agentic workflow? So it will just automatically go into my CRM, make the email, send it out. You definitely want to oversee this stuff until you trust it enough that you're not making any edits. Then you can just put it on autopilot. Let's go back to the chat here. Can I give GPT a YouTube link to make similar scripts as my competitors? Um, you have to pull the transcript out. You can't just give ChatGPT a YouTube link, but where you can do that is in Notebook LM. Notebook LM is made by Google, and Google or Alphabet owns YouTube. So they make it really easy in Notebook to add sources where you can just put the link to the YouTube video in and they'll rip the transcript out for you. So if you're doing a lot of YouTube analysis, Notebook LM, I think, is your way to go. This is an amazing free tool that's out there too, guys. Like it competes with deep research that you pay a couple $100 a month to get in ChatGPT Pro. One of the things I love about ChatGPT Plus, the $20 a month one, is that we now have ChatGPT 4.5 with deep research in it. You just don't get as many usages of it, but deep research can do like a PhD level quality thesis in about 2 hours. It's insane how good it is. And Notebook LM is very similarly powerful in terms of the deep research that it does. And you can add like 50 different sources or put in 50 different YouTube videos and have it analyze all of them and find patterns and themes. And then it will, over here, it will create mind maps, timelines, briefing documents on all the stuff you give it. And it even creates these amazing podcasts of two people talking, summarizing the research that it found. So that's the answer to the YouTube question. Um, Sales administration, auto summarize emails. We just kind of looked at auto summarizing transcripts. You can do the same thing with emails. Schedule support. That's where agents are really helpful. There is this thing in ChatGPT that can kind of help you with scheduling. This new thing they have called scheduled tasks. So what it will do is it will just automatically run a search for you. Like you could say, oh, every morning at 8 a.m. I want to get a summary of the of the breaking stories. And you just say in general or in your area of interest. And then you'll just have those chats will just be there ready for you. And when you come in the morning, you just click on it, it'll be there. Um, and then there is a way you can start to kind of hook um, you can hook custom GPTs through an API connection into Zapier, so then you can then connect ChatGPT outputs into your email, into your CRM. So there's a way to take all of these custom GPTs that you build and connect them to other systems. Um, I think let's wrap up. Like Albert said at the beginning, AI won't replace you, but someone using it for your job might. So embrace it to stay ahead, learn AI, enhance your work, and join our AI bootcamp next week. Um, is there a coupon code that you can put in the chat? Anyone who's on this chat right now can join next week for $67, and we'll give you a full 3-hour workshop on building custom GPTs. Would love to have you there. I think you're going to get an amazing return on your investment in terms of how much time you'll save with these. I love sharing them with people because, like I said, it's kind of daunting what AI is doing to disrupt the world and disrupt the job market, disrupt the workplace. But with custom GPTs, you can really take control of this and use it to your advantage, I think, more powerfully than almost any other tool set that I've seen out there. So there is the coupon. We'd love any feedback, comments, questions that you guys have in the chat. We've got 5 minutes left till we wrap up.
See, we do have a question. Oh, okay. All right, no question there. Any questions, any thoughts? We do have a code for you if you're interested in joining us. Would love to have you. I use custom GPTs every day, and yeah, there will be a recording. We'll link to it on our YouTube channel, and I'll invite you to basically see it there. As far as a presentation, Eric, you got a link that you want to share for that?
Um, the link to this presentation. Yeah, I'll, oh, I can, yeah, I mean, I can put it in the chat. As it should just be read only. Let's see. Be link. Anyone with link is a viewer. Yes, that's fine. Done. I'm putting it in the chat now. And then Albert, you'll send this out as well.
Yep. Mhm.
Well, and then there's this QR code. You all can scan it if you want to get in touch with me. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Would love to hear from you.
All right. Any other questions from anybody here? Doesn't look like it. So what we'll go ahead and do is conclude. We'll follow up with you all with the link, as well as the sign up for our workshop next week, where you can learn to build a GPT for yourself. And we look forward to seeing you then. Until next time, there's plenty of other events on Albert's list, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you so much, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Thanks, all.